Welcome to the hot seat.
Yeah.
You scared?
Not at all.
I guess it's good when you don't know what you're getting yourself into, right?
I
I'm
guess
not that
so.
bad though.
I guess so.
I'm not that bad, and it's really no dirt to find on you. So like, what can I do? But welcome to Muse of the Month. I have I had no idea we would ever interview a ballerina. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we're gonna get all the preliminary shit out the way first. Get into this camera, look into the camera, and say, "Hey, I'm." Introduce yourself, what you do, and we'll do the rest of it at the end. But just do that. And where you from?
Okay.
Tell all the
Should
50
should I say that I went to Brookwood or I was
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want nobody blaming you for their transgressions.
right. All right. Hi everybody. I am Jewel Ellis. I am owner of Jewel Ballerina LLC. I provide ballet for luxury weddings and events, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
And when is your birthday? I know this already, but I gotta ask.
October 6, 2000.
And that is a.
Libra.
Do you think I should be more into social media? I mean, more into astrology.
Zodiac signs
I
and
don't know.
stuff.
I don't know nothing about nobody that's not a Gemini.
Well, I don't know anything about anybody that's not a Libra, so I don't know.
I don't feel bad no more.
Right.
So I'm gonna get the question that you already said is whack out the way first. Who is your creative muse? And it doesn't have to be a dancer or somebody who do what you do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not. It's not. So for me, my creative muse is my mom. I never thought that anything like entrepreneurship or owning your own business could be something that could like be a common interest that could be passed down from like mother to daughter. But my mom owned her own business and like I knew I wanted to do that too. So she's somebody that just kind of catapulted this whole mindset that I didn't even know that I had until I got older with owning my own business.
do you think it brought y'all closer, like than y'all already were once you started to embark on this journey?
Yeah, so me and my mom, it's just me and her. I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child, so it's really just me and her. So this whole experience really, I remember when I have a whole degree, and I remember when I told her like, I think I want to put 100% into this ballet thing, and I want to allow myself to open up and see what type of business I could own. And she was just right there with me, like there was no resistance whatsoever. So it for sure brought us together closer, for
Even
sure.
before the 35 million views.
Even before the 35 million views. Like she doesn't have no choice but to support me. So I mean, like it's just the love there.
Being an only child is dangerous. It's very dangerous.
It is.
And an only child as a woman.
Yeah.
So, do you think like I have a 13-year-old, right? And I always tell people my son is my only biological child. And I kind of feel like him being the only child made him so much more self-sufficient already that that's the gift of it. But then the other side is I always feel like he's trying to find his tribe because he don't have that brother and it's only me and my brother, and my brother don't have any kids, so it's not like he got a host of cousins. Do you feel like you missed out on anything being the only child?
Honestly, no. And it's crazy that you said that self-sufficiency kind of comes with being an only child because we're actually known for being like very spoiled, don't like to work with others, but we're very independent. So that's one thing that I found out about myself and like when I got older, like I'm very independent and I think that self-independency kind of allowed me to thrive a bit more when it came to like my friends because it's like okay, I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket with this thing or like with this person. um I don't really think I missed out. It kind of made me see the value in everything a bit more because um I don't know, it's like I just was really experiencing everything like on my own. I felt like
You probably still spoiled though.
very much so. Like
I think even being spoiled is being self-sufficient because I think spoiled people have to learn. Like that's a skill to me. It's one thing to be spoiled by your parents, or it's even one thing to be spoiled by like maybe your significant other.
Or even yourself. That's what I found. I spoil myself because my mama doesn't do it no more. Like,
She's like, at a certain point, you got it by yourself.
yeah, you done.
I hate the term spoiling though. Like, I hate to
That's what it
spoil your
is.
girl. I hate spoil yourself. I hate spoil your kids. I'm a writer first, right? So I'm big on words.
It's kind of like self-investment. That's what I like to call it. Self-investment.
But
Or
investment has limits. The first speechless moment early on. So I look at it like this, right? Sport to sport. If you look up the word sport, it means to ruin, right? And I think what we have as a community, we operate from a state of lack, right? So when we say spoiling yourself, you really mean loving yourself. But it's just like we exaggerate everything, right?
Right.
But I do believe, because I believe in messaging. I believe in the way things permeate after you put them into the universe. I'm not big on quote unquote manifesting or manifestation, but I do believe when you say stuff enough, people who are around you begin to exhibit what you're saying.
Right.
So I don't want to ruin everybody. I want to love you, but I also want to give you boundaries. Do you think it's hard for you to set boundaries, being that, you probably get mostly what you want?
I feel like it's hard for me to set boundaries in particular areas. Like when it comes to like having a significant other, I didn't really have a whole lot of like, I didn't have a sibling growing up. So it's like, I have a lack of boundaries because I don't really have as much interaction with other people. That's kind of, if
So
that
you
makes
love,
sense.
you like all in.
Yeah. It's very hard for me to like set a boundary because I'm like, wait, like what's going on? I've never like had this before. Like, and it's kind of with the same thing with my passion or like with dance or anything like that. If I love it, I'm going to like have all of it. There's no like boundaries or limit with that.
I'm the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
What? How you be the opposite?
Because I
Oh.
feel like my love is enough for me to still be able to have a limit, right? Like, if I was dating you and I had to do this interview with somebody else, as much as I love you, or as much as I want to be with you, I'm not coming home 3 hours early and missing this shoot because you ain't seen me all day. And I think it sounds like a joke, or it sounds like an exaggeration, but how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I condition you that I'm going to always give you everything, then I gotta always give you everything.
Well, there's a difference between giving somebody everything and handling your business. If you had to do a shoot and you get home at whatever time you get home at, that's you handling your business. That's not you setting a boundary. Now, setting a boundary would be if your girl was hitting up your phone the whole time you were at the shoot. Listen, we can't do this. That's a boundary. Because
But what if
handling
I
your
just want
business
to be
is two
alone?
different things. You said what?
What if I don't have a shoot and I just want to be home? Like on Thursday nights, I watch the game and I chill.
Well, you setting that time to yourself, that's setting a boundary.
That's a boundary.
Yeah, it is.
We'll get into the relationship stuff a little bit more later. One thing that when I did my deep dive, and I love doing my deep dive on you because number one, it's in relative comparison. You're young compared to me. I'm 35, right? But what I love is the young rising stars now are so, like, it's almost like they show everything, stuff that you don't need to show. You have a very careful, nurtured, like curated. I ain't gonna say persona because I'm not saying that's not you, but you're just not everything shouting everything out. Like, I really had to do some work to find angles and even to find some of the dope stuff. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I've always been very soft spoken ever since I was a kid. So, I mean, even with everything that I've accomplished today, somebody will ask me and be like, oh my goodness, like you've accomplished so much. And I'll be like, yeah, I mean, nobody will know that I did the Good Morning America interview. Nobody will know that I got 36 million views on like social media. And like nobody, I just don't think it's necessary. I've always been one of those people to be soft spoken and let my actions do the talking. And I think that just kind of carried over into adulthood and with my professional career too.
And that flows into my next question. So,
Mhm.
like, with you having so much success so young, do you think you can truly enjoy the moment, or are you always looking for what's next because it came so soon?
I feel like that I fully enjoy the moment because honestly, I feel like my whole journey this far hasn't been me being like, I need to hurry up and do this. I need to hurry up and do that. I need to get this interview. I need to do this. It's all just kind of happened to me. It hasn't ever been anything that I wanted to check off a list or, remind myself to do. It just all happened. I never planned for all this stuff to happen. Um, Yeah, so whenever things come my way, I fully get to enjoy it because I wasn't sitting there waiting on it to happen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I fully enjoy everything that happens to me, and every single event that I go to, I like fully enjoy it.
Do you feel like because you're younger people, you have a lot of people, whether it's people that's close to you or just people that just come across you in over the course of your work that try to tell you what to do because you're young?
No, nobody tries to tell me what to do because nobody has been in the area that I've been in. There's nobody providing classical ballet performances for major luxury weddings and events on the scale that I'm doing it. I'm the only person in my field. So it's like I've never had anybody really challenge me on it. I've had people ask me for advice on how they can get better or like what they need to do, but I've never had anybody double cross me or question me about anything because I guess somehow I always find a way to,
Just figure
get
it out.
everything done and I somehow find an answer to it. So mostly people are looking at me for answers.
Do you think it's a gift or a curse that you don't have a blueprint? Like nobody, this is a new lane.
I think it's a gift for sure because I have so much flexibility. I don't have to go by a rule book. It's all mine. It's all the ideas are coming from me. Everything that I want, I'm able to execute it. And I think that's one of the main things that allowed this to kind of grow because I never thought that I would be performing at weddings or doing this at all. At all. I have a whole degree in public health education. Like I was planning on going a whole different route, but then God was just like, oh, why aren't you listening? You know what I'm saying? Like, do the ballet. This is what you're meant for. And it kept on popping up. Um, I forget the original question.
Do you think it's better that nobody has, like you have your own lane, you don't have a blueprint?
Oh, yeah. I think it's just perfect. It's perfect. Like, the reason why I started doing like gigs at first and performing at different like weddings and events was because I didn't want to be with um, like a classical ballet company. That's the original route that dancers normally go. We train, and then when we get about 16 to 18, we try to find a dance company so we can train with them. And for a while, I thought that's what I wanted to do. But the structure and the pressure that you experience, like with ballet, I was just like, I know I love performing. I know this is what I love to do, but all that extra stuff can go.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do everything the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to pick out what I wore. I didn't want to have to fit into somebody else's measurements for my costume when I perform in it. I didn't want to have to worry about somebody saying anything about my nails. It's all what I wanted to do. So for me to have the opportunity to literally execute anything that I want to do on my terms is a huge blessing for me.
Yeah, because I know I'm a I'm a junkie, right? I'm an information junkie. I'm a culture junkie.
Hmm.
I watch everything, and I just know ballet and gymnastics and swimmers, as far as women go,
Hmm.
are some of the most those girls and young girls and women go through so much trying to fit a mold.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they get to 26 or 25, and not only are they burnt out because they've been competing every weekend since they were 5, but they also have so much body dysmorphia and you know bulimic and anemic. I mean, not anemic, anorexic.
Yeah.
So many things going on. So I think it's dope that you even realize that, hey, I'm not gonna fight that fight.
Yeah.
Um, but with that being said, what made you realize that, hey, outside of doing this as like a hobby, because you really could have had this as a side gig,
Right.
or you could have had this as like, hey, I went to school and got this degree. I'm gonna still go do this and I'm gonna dance in these weddings on the weekend. What made you just go all the way 100% into it?
Well, I recently graduated just in December. So I haven't even been a college graduate a full year. And what really did it for me was that last semester, last fall of 2022, I had to do an internship from August to December.
Where
And I did my internship at Live Healthy Gwinnett. It's like a public health initiative for the county. And it was good because I love kids and it dealt a lot with kids. But I was sitting up in there. I have a whole notebook from the whole time I was there of me writing down stuff. What can I do with my business? What color tutus I need to add? What type of songs should I suggest that they play? How do I? That's where my mind was really at. And then by the end of the semester, I was like, I done filled this whole notebook up. Whether it was like with travel stuff, where I'm going, like what I need to buy to make my business better. And I'm like, and then Good Morning America happened too. And that was like nail in the coffin. Like, okay, I don't think there's no turning back from this. Like, I can't just wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, well, I'm done doing weddings because people have me booked next year. Like, it's bigger than me now. It's not just something I can just do on the weekends. But that internship, just me getting a taste of like the 9 to 5 life with like, it's nothing wrong, but it's just not for me, you know? And I'm so happy that I realized that before I got out of college, because up until that point, I had been splitting up the ballet work with school. So I never knew what it was like giving my business 100%. So when I graduated, I was like, that's when I had to talk with my mom. I was like, I think I want to allow myself to commit myself fully to this. And I did, and I went through a little period where I was like, I'm not sure. And then really, honestly, everything really started making itself clear to me, like, I'm gonna be okay in this, really probably in about March of this year.
And I want to commend that because I know even for you, it might seem like, I'm young, I can try some things out, right? But you was like, after Good Morning America, I couldn't go back to not taking this serious.
Yeah, because I was like, okay. At first I was like, wow, Ma, do you think this is luck? And she was like, Jewel, it's Good Morning America. People don't they
You
don't
don't
reach
look
out
up
they
and
don't
get
reach
on.
out to everybody each
Yeah.
week and be like, hey, you want an article on Good Morning America? So I was like, man, this is probably it for me.
So when we first opened our studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our first, so I managed an artist named Kentrell. So he technically was our first shoots that we did in here. This is March 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But our first booking was Chris Brown. So we did Chris Brown Go Crazy remix.
He was up in here.
So Chris Brown actually did his portion in LA, but Lotto, Future, Young Thug, Mulatto, Dirk,
See,
Keed, all of them was in here. Like and this is our first shoot, right? For me, especially.
if you did your research good, you would know I love me some Chris Brown, so y'all need to call him back.
That's crazy. But the funny thing is, one of our talented directors and shooters, he produced the video.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought it was crazy. He went to Amazon. He went back to work at Amazon the next day.
What?
And no slight of people's life decisions, but it takes somebody with conviction to know either, hey, I can't go back to 9 to 5 after getting this close to my dream.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it also takes conviction to say, hey, this was cool, but I want the stability.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's something to be said about somebody who's like, look, I know I can do this now, and this was the last sign I need, and now I'm going until I fall off.
Right.
So, but with you having your degree, do you ever feel like you'll come back around to it, or do you think it's over?
I'm just not passionate about it. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's the answer. Like, if I'm not passionate about it, I cannot sit there for 8 hours a day Like it just doesn't. I for me personally, I just can't do it. I can't.
I always say passion is fuel, right?
Yes.
Passion is fuel, and everything else is just paint. So like, if I got fuel in my car, I can go wherever I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I might want a new paint job,
Right.
but if I want a new paint job in March, by December, I might want another one because now I'm just doing things to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I got passion, I can go anywhere I want. So you chose passion over stability.
Yeah.
How does that look for? Because if I'm correct, you're 23
I'm going to be 23 in October. I'm
and
still
23
22.
October 6th. So at 22, how does choosing passion look in comparison to what most 22-year-olds are doing? When I was 22, I was playing Xbox all day, and honestly, at 22, I had a kid. I just wasn't. I wasn't. I had a passion to be a basketball player, and when that didn't work out, I just was like, all right, I'm just gonna be like everybody else for a little while and just enjoy parties and enjoy being out. But like, not only are you a career woman, you also are in great shape. You don't feel like you're missing nothing being 22 and being so focused?
Well, the answer to that is no. I mean, now I kind of feel it a little bit, but ballet took up most of my life. So you have to think I started when I was 2, and I danced all the way with Northeast Atlanta Ballet until I was about 16 or 17. And even when I was in high school, I was always dancing. I was always dancing, so it was like I never really went to too many football games. Didn't really go to basketball games like that. Didn't have too many extracurriculars because it was like school then dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of extended into my college life too, because I was dancing in college as well, and I was doing the weddings and stuff like that. So now being a graduate, um, it's kind of the same thing. People will ask me like, Jewel, do you want to go here? You want to go there? And I'll be like, I got to answer these emails. Like, I tell
Right.
people like I'm like an old lady because I'll be at home answering emails trying to figure out what needs to be in place for me to be successful, because while I am the only person in my field, I'm still an entrepreneur. And what comes with being an entrepreneur is you have to go out and get yours. You don't have nobody giving you a check consistently. You don't know when that's coming in. So it's like you still have to really go out and get yours. And that doesn't change with my age. Like I don't get a free pass just because I'm 22. I still have to go out and get it on my own.
That's fact. Success or love?
Success or love?
Yeah.
Success.
Do you think that'll change when you get older?
No, because I would like to be successful with the person that I'm in love with. We could both be successful together.
Do you think you can build both at the same time? Not
When
maintain both. Can you build both at the same time?
build both at the same time, no. I'm a believer in building yourself all the way up until you know who you are, finding somebody that then built themselves up all the way up to when they know who they are and what they want to do in life, and both of y'all come together. There's no purpose in putting together two broken pieces. There's no purpose in putting together two broken pieces. Like you need two full people that know exactly what they want, and then y'all can come together.
Your mom did a good job.
She did. She did do that. She did do that.
With success comes attention. With attention comes opinions. What's the biggest misconception about you?
mm, that I'm mean. Everybody thinks
You
I'm
light
mean.
skinned.
Right. But like that don't mean that I'm mean. That doesn't mean that I'm mean at all. I guess on social media, people think that I'm really nice because whenever I do my little voiceovers, I have like, "Hi everybody, it's Jewel Ballerina." But in real life, people will say like, all my friends will see me post videos and stuff, and they'll be like, "That
That ain't you.
that's not your real voice." I'll be like, "Yeah, but you got to maintain
Turn
the
it on.
brand.
You
You
gotta
got to
turn it
maintain the
on.
brand. You got to maintain the brand." But nah.
So you being mean, how does that, do you think that's because you're focused more so? Because like telling people no, whether it's telling them no to going out with them to have fun, like, or just when you're goal oriented, you're always gonna be called mean. You're always gonna be called uptight, or you think you're too
Hmm.
good for us. Is that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the where the misconception comes from?
Yeah, very much so. I feel it all the time. But I'm just not. Like, it's a combination of me like also being lazy too. Cause I mean, my job is very physical. So like all my friends know, like, say that I have an event on Saturday, like don't ask me to do nothing on Friday because I need to like mentally and physically prepare. Like I'm not going in to send off emails every day. I have to go out and
Gotta
I have
lock
to,
in.
yeah, my body is what I use to work. So um all that just comes with great, I have to be focused. I have to be focused and I can't do what people my age do all the time.
Outside of your mom, who's your mentor? Because I look at stuff you've done and I'm like, number one, you're smart. But there's just, I have the way I look at things might be a little different. So I'm like, 22-year-olds are not thinking about trademarks. You know what I'm saying? You have trademark Flowerina.
Yeah.
I think I said that right. Did I say it right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, who are your mentors?
Like I said, I was an only child. So I mean, I guess you could say my mentor is my mom, but my mom doesn't help me with nothing. She just gives me like support,
Encouragement.
yeah, and encouragement. She doesn't answer emails. She doesn't coordinate flights when I go. She doesn't do anything. She's completely detached. So it's really all me. And I think, I don't know, I think it's inspiration. I think I have inspiration, but I don't have a person telling me, Jewel, do this, do this, do this. I'm just,
Do
I
you
want,
think you would be open to one?
would I be open to get one, a
Mhm.
mentor? Yeah, yeah. And I have a whole bunch of people that I go to for advice, but I don't have,
Like that one person. There.
yeah, like it low key is like me. Cause I'll be sitting in my, I do all my business like in my bed. Like I have everything spread out.
Papers everywhere.
Yeah. iPad, laptop, phone,
Chargers.
notebook. Like that's cords coming all over. And I'll be like, okay, what do I need to do? If I want to add dancers, I need to put this here, put that there. And I don't know what success looks like with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So there isn't anybody telling me or guiding me like, okay, make sure that you do this when this happens. Make sure that you do that when you get to that point. It's, I'm kind of going blindly in a way, because I haven't seen the framework or business like plan or idea be executed anywhere else, honestly. So it's me. I feel like that I'm kind of the thing that fuels it. I've built this whole thing. It's my baby now. I'm stuck with it, so it might as well be super successful. And nobody's going to really love your stuff the same way you do, you know? So same as when I was an only child. I kind of just keep everything in my own little space and just do it my own way. That's what's been working so far.
What's the end goal?
I was just asking my mom this literally last night. I can't give you an exact picture, but I know it's going to be something big. I know it's going to be something big because I have a whole bunch of people emailing me asking me like dancers like 15, 14-year olds, and I'm like, I don't know what I would have done if 14-year-old Jewel would have been getting an opportunity to dance at these big weddings and getting cost, like it's a whole experience that I'm offering like dancers that join, you know, my company and whatnot. And it's something completely different than I've, like, at least dance wise in the ballet world, it's a completely new lane. Like I just said, it's normally train, go to a company, retire. I've given dancers a whole new alleyway to go down. So I don't know what success looks like, but I know it's going to be something big because it's just something different. And I know that people are interested in the service, and that's really all you need for success to happen.
What scares you?
One thing that really scares me is that I'm going to be too strong of a woman for anybody.
Elaborate.
I feel
Because I
like,
have pushback on that.
yeah. So I just feel like I'm very strong, like in everything. If you tell me something, I'm going to be like, what? I'm the type of girl that like opens, like you don't need to open up the door for me. Like, I'm not that kind of
I
girl.
think you're too independent.
I think I'm too independent, and I won't let anybody get in the way of me
Don't let
getting my
nobody love
business
you.
done. Like, nah.
But does that mean you just have to, we have all these cliche terms. I even think a woman being too strong is a cliche term. Um, but like, do you think it's a matter of real life, or do you think it's just such a narrative that it's kind of become something that you worry about?
It becomes my mom's
Because I
probably.
think your mom is strong.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. My mom is probably going to kill me, but like, she's a strong woman. She's a very strong woman, and she's a divorcee, and she's very particular who she gives her time to, who she gives her attention to. And I mean, she hasn't remarried, which isn't a bad thing. But she tells me like she feels like she's too strong, and I am a lot like my mom, and I'm very much like her way earlier than when she became strong. Like at 22, well, I guess me and her were kind of strong at the same age, but I see a lot of
Similarity.
similarities, and it goes both ways because sees a lot of similarities like with me too. So I don't really know. I just think it's a very intimidating thing. That's once again, like when people meet me, I'm not screaming out like, "Hey, did you see my Good Morning America interview?" It's just kind of like when people find out, they be like, "Dang, who am I dealing with?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, who are you dealing
And
with?"
now they get it.
You know,
Do you believe in being a such thing as equally yoked,
equally yoked.
or like finding your equal?
Yeah,
These cliche
yeah,
terms.
yeah, for sure. I think finding my equal is very possible. Finding my equal within like
That could live in your space.
no, 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 no. I'm very easily pleased. I just think a lot of people that at least like I said, I'm in like the fresh out of college, senior year kind of age range, and that's kind of the people that I like. I'll have a lot of friends that are still in school. So it's like I'm like, y'all ain't
Y'all ain't
ready
ready
for
yet.
this. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always been a little bit more mature. All my cousins are more mature. So when it comes to people like approaching me, I'm like, yeah, nah, this ain't really what you want right now at all.
Do you think you're a thinker or a feeler?
Am I what?
A thinker or a feeler?
A thinker or a feeler? I'm definitely a overthinker, for
I
sure.
don't like that term either.
I'm an
I guess I got a
overthinker.
problem with it because it almost like adds a connotation to being a thinker. Like I don't think there's such thing as an overthink. I think over people who think a lot, if you're a thinker, you think about solutions. People who worry think about problems. And it's different. People who it's like being in water, panicking about drowning when you can stand up. I spend a lot of time thinking about solutions.
Hmm.
But I love it, and I love thinkers. I love talking to thinkers. I love being challenged. I love intelligent disagreements.
Right.
I love people who have a direction. So normally to have a direction in this world where all you hear is noise,
Hmm.
you have to be a overthinker.
Right.
There's no other way. But people who are to me are more feelers, they go through life being pushed. Like marketing is pushing you. Everything is pushing you. And those people to me aren't thinkers, they're feelers. They
Hmm.
just think it's them overthinking because that's what they've been labeled. But it's really you just feeling everything and you're worrying about everything.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm still an overthinker, I think. Honestly, I
Do you
think
feel enough?
I think I do. I think I do feel enough, but I just feel very cautiously. Like I said, I'm very particular what I exert my energy on and what I like. So I'm thinking about every single thing before I decide to commit or put my time and energy into something.
Look like it works.
See? See?
So I'm gonna switch gears back a little bit to work. What's your favorite booking?
My favorite booking,
Yeah.
like what people book with me,
No,
like
your favorite
what, like wedding?
that you've been booked for. Favorite thing.
Mm. Easily my first one. And it's crazy because the anniversary for my very first wedding that I did is June 24th,
It's June 20th.
2020. How did you know
Good research.
that? Yeah, so easily that first one. It's like forever engraved in my head. I remember I I just found the note in my computer a few days ago, and it was like, "Hey, thank you so much for wanting me to dance at your wedding. I charge 150 for this, and to throw in a reception performance, it's going to be an extra $25." Like, and I was so excited.
Cash.
I was so excited, and then I got there, and they put me in the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh, so excited!" Like, and my mom came, and one of my friends came, and I remember she gave me the money afterwards, and I was like, I'm big time.
It's real. It's up now.
I was like, I'm big time. I just danced for like 3 minutes and made $150. Like, I was ecstatic.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly. And I love seeing the growth. I love seeing the growth. I love it. It just makes everything worthwhile. But that is definitely my most favorite wedding at all time. And I'll forever keep that video on my page if you go all the way down.
It's at the bottom.
Yeah, it's at the bottom because that's where it's all started.
What do you do for fun when you're not working?
For fun,
You can't say work is fun.
Oh yeah, see, no, I wasn't going to say that. Everybody always tells me that sleep isn't fun, but
It is when you'll never get it.
I get enough sleep. I be like, let me take a nap. It be for fun. I be so excited to lay down in that bed, but nah, I don't think that's a real hobby. One hobby that I have picked up that I am growing to love is sewing. I impulsively bought a sewing machine about a month or two ago, and I am taking sewing classes to learn how to sew with the machine. I've always known how to hand sew really good. I learned when I was 9 because of the point shoes, but I never knew how to sew with the machine. And now that I'm getting more costumes and stuff like that and more dancers, I wanted to learn how to make more things and alter the costumes myself because I'm kind of a control freak. I wanted to be in control of that. So sewing, and it's another kind of it's another unique outlet. I get to create something from nothing, which is kind of like what dance is. Like any type of movement that comes from your body, like that's dance. So it's just nice being able to physically create something and just put it together and see the whole outcome like in your hands.
I always say dancers have a advantage on the world.
We do.
Because dancers have a rhythm to everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't have rhythm.
Yeah.
So it's like a cheat code. And then I think writers are next. Because
Mm-hmm.
writers have to see everything that everybody else see and interpret it different.
Yeah.
So but I could also see somebody whose literal life is movement. Something like sewing gets you to be still.
Mm-hmm.
So it's peaceful.
Yeah.
So I guess that still counts as fun.
I think it's fun.
Now we're gonna get into your neighborhood.
Okay.
From Gwinnett.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
And like the Gwinnett, you're 22. Your Gwinnett is different from when I was sneaking around Gwinnett. I'm not from Gwinnett. I'm from Georgia, but I'm not from Gwinnett. But I think music tells the time. Art tells the time of the generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you had to pick right now to be booked by, rest in peace, Takeoff, but Migos or Lil Baby, who you picking?
I might do Migos because they went to Berkmar,
They went to Bergmar.
like right down the street.
I know a lot of Bergmar people.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, they made it. Like I can make it too. You know, I was right down the street at Brookwood.
And
so.
it's a kid now that's thinking the same thing about
Mm-hmm.
you. If you could do a show on Broadway or perform at New Year's Eve in Times Square,
New Year's Eve in Times Square.
why?
Because my job is to bring classical ballet and put it in unconventional spaces. So who's doing that in Times Square? You know, like.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, depending on when you go to Times Square, you can see anything in Times Square.
Right.
But I feel you. Do you think you find your purpose or your purpose finds you?
I think it finds you. It find I think it's a little bit of both because my mom had to find the dance studio and she had to take me there for me to realize that it was my passion. Then it's like when you find it, it don't ever let go. So it's a little bit of both because I always tell people when you're confused about something, it's not for you, but when you're positive about it, it's definitely for you. And I've always known, Mom, take me to dance. I'm ready. Like I was never like, oh, I don't want to go today. I always was sure about it, so I always knew it was for me.
Do you regret anything?
Regret anything? No. Life would not be like how it is right now in this moment if I regretted stuff or if I wanted to take anything back. I don't regret anything that I've done this far.
Who do you every I don't even I don't even call it I don't even think it's content. Every artist has an audience. Who is your target audience for you?
I feel like my target audience currently right now in this moment would be for sure anybody in the wedding industry. That's kind of like what I'm mainly reaching right now. And I feel like with a little sprinkle um, of the next generation of ballerinas, any dancer. Um, I feel like it's people are looking at it like, ooh, I want to do that when I get older. Ooh, I think I should try to break into doing that. I think that's another little target audience that I haven't quite really grown yet because I haven't introduced that I'm going to be doing auditions for other dancers soon. But I'm when that breaks open, I think my audience is going to be towards dancers that are trying to find a new path or trying to re-spark their passion for dance because dancing for a company or whatever happened ruined it. I think it's going to give people a bigger artistic outlet. So I think that what my next target audience will be. But right now it's for sure anything within the wedding industry.
Do you think you long term you would rather be producing talent or teaching talent?
Ooh, I like doing both, and I vision myself doing both. I definitely feel like as long like as I can walk, I'm going to keep on teaching for sure. Um, And until I can't do it anymore, I'm going to be running my business. And that will consist of me, whenever I stop dancing, managing dancers on where to go for what event. Like, hey, girl, you have this event on this date. I'll be doing that and I'll be teaching because ballet teachers can be old as the moon and still teach.
Yeah. So this is a question we normally ask artists, rappers. Who's the top 5 dancers
Top five dancers.
of your favorite dancers ever? Does that exist in your world?
It does exist in my world. I have a few, but they're pretty generic. I'm not even gonna lie. Obviously everybody knows, anybody in the dance community knows Misty Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Michaela DePrince is another one. Um, Another dancer that I really like right now, she dances with American Ballet Theater. Her name is Isabella Boylston. Um, there's another dancer with Dance Theater of Harlem, Ingrid Silva, I think is how you say her last name. And me.
And you.
And me.
Do you think ballet dancers need more branding, or do you kind of like that it's a community that's for the people who care about it?
I think ballet dancers need more branding because almost every single video shoot or gig that I go to or wedding, whatever it is, I always hear people say, oh my goodness, I've never seen a real ballerina before. And that's another mission behind my business too. I want to expose this high esteemed art that you can only go see in big theaters and, opera houses and whatnot and bring it to people that haven't gotten that experience. So I definitely think that it needs to become a thing that everybody's a little bit more aware about because it's just so beautiful and it's so regal and it's something that deserves to be seen amongst people that can't afford to go to a theater and watch. Um, so yeah.
So when you gonna open a theater?
Oh Lord.
Now I'm putting the pressure on you.
Catch me doing that like in 20 35 or something like that, maybe.
It'll be like 28.
I'll be like 35.
I'm being funny. Last question. What do you think will be the turning point for you to say, okay, now it's family time?
Now it's family time.
Cause like I look at Rihanna. Rihanna clearly said, "Now it's family time."
Right.
Beyonce said, "Now it's family time."
I've-
Even Michelle Obama said, "Now it's family time" at a certain point.
I feel like when my first baby can walk, this business, when it can walk on its own and kind of be sufficient somewhat, where it doesn't need me dancing at events consistently to run, when I have other people in place to do performances wherever they need to be done, then I'll probably feel comfortable with, okay, I'm gonna let y'all do that for just a little bit while I, shed the Jewel Ballerina and just be Jewel Ellis and focus on like the family aspect of life.
You know what I love about doing Muse interviews and doing Muse as a whole is, and this is like a selfish thing, right? As a man who's like a serial workaholic, and just a serial focused on whatever my next thing is, you almost get called crazy a lot. Like, though you have the narratives of anybody can make time for what they want to make time for, and all of these different things. I like talking to women who do dope things because their focus lends them to work the same way I do.
Right.
And it's inspiring because it's like, this is not a man or a woman thing.
Right.
Like being a hard worker is not gender specific.
Right. For sure.
And I think the more we highlight dope women who have a focus that's outside of, and granted, I want to get married. I believe in family. I believe in marriage. I believe in, at a certain point. But I just love to see people that are focused on what they're doing and they putting action behind it. We live in a social media era where everybody can make themselves look like they are go-getters, or they can make it look like they about their business. And just listening to your answers and listening, especially when you come on set, I'm an ear hustler, so I listen to everything. So I just really admire that about you specifically, but I admire that about women, and I don't want to sit down and do these kind of interviews with people that I don't feel will give that same inspiration to other people. So thank you for doing it, and I need you to do one thing for me before we end.
Okay.
I need you to reintroduce yourself, give them your social media handles, and say, "I am the Muse of the Month."
I'm the what?
Muse of the Month.
Muse of the Month. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I am Jewel Ellis. Hold up.
The Train. Hater.
Good. I forgot what I was supposed to say anyway.
I'm Jewel Ellis. You can find me at, or you don't even have to do your social. We'll just put it up there. Just, I'm Jewel Ellis, and I am the Muse of the Month.
Okay.
As soon as the
We
train
still waiting on train.
I think we're good.
All right. I am Jewel Ellis, and I am the Muse of the Month.
Okay. How do I do on time, sir?
Really good. This is the best one yet.
Yeah.